April 2026. Motorola releases its new Razr 70. It hasn't been long, but there's already a lot of hype around it. At launch, the 256GB version costs about €730. That's serious money for a base model in the lineup. And now this device is storming the European market, hot on Samsung's heels. But let's set aside the influencer's excitement. A foldable phone in 2026. Is it still a compromise? Or is it really ready to replace your usual daily slab? Today, we're going to talk absolutely honestly. I'll share my opinion on where Motorola exceeded expectations and where, frankly, they cut corners. So let's get started. And we'll start with the unboxing. Remember how, in the previous generation, Motorola followed Apple's greedy path and made us buy... Forget it, apparently the brand heard the criticism. The Razr 70 greets us with the phone itself, a sturdy, high-quality USB cable, and a USB charger. Here it is. That's what it looks like, and of course there's documentation and a protective case, which I really liked it a lot, and I'll show you right now, just like this. As you can clearly see, this is exactly what it looks like, and I honestly really like how it looks on the actual phone itself. I like that. For example, I have the gray one, and the case is also a matching gray color, and it just looks fantastic. It looks good, and it fits very well, really high quality. Also, on my box it says that I have a fast charging adapter. But what's interesting is that on the Braun website, it says that the package includes a very fast turbo power charger at 30 watts. I can say what I didn't like, and what I did like, I liked that there's a case included and that there's a new cable. It's USB-C to USB-C, but it's strange to me that somewhere it says there's a power adapter, but I don't have one. Externally, the Razr 70 is perfect. On the back, there's luxurious, soft, eco-leather. Now I'll show you what it looks like. This is how it looks. The smartphone doesn't pick up fingerprints. It doesn't slip out of your hands. The frame is aluminum, but the hinge has now been updated. It's made of titanium. The protection has also changed. It's not just charity level IP48 here, but also official compliance with the military standard MILS D810H. According to tests, it can withstand up to 255 drops. That's impressive, especially in terms of impact resistance. Let's close it, and in the closed state, it's a compact square almost 16 millimeters thick. It feels unusual in your pocket, but it's comfortable. But let's take off our rose-colored glasses. The hinge has become stiffer because of the titanium. You can't elegantly open the phone with one hand by flicking it with your finger, like with the old flip phones from the 2000s. You can't... See, I tried to flick it open, but the case came off instead. There's a high risk of damaging the inner screen. With your fingernail, you have to open it with both hands. Babe. And the crease on the inner display hasn't gone anywhere. In sunlight, it's visible, and your finger bumps into it every time you scroll vertically. Yes, I'm doing it now. I can feel this crease. Since we've talked a bit about the crease, let's move on. The display is its pride. It has a huge 6.9-inch display, an extreme model with 120 Hz and insane brightness compared to the previous generation. But most importantly, there's a second one, not an external screen. Both the inner and outer screen support Dolby Vision. The external display is still a 3.6-inch AMOLED with a 90 Hz refresh rate. And this is the one you'll be using all the time. Why cover up the whole phone? With the slightest action, you can launch a full-fledged navigator, scroll through your feed, quickly type a reply to a message, or switch tracks. The screen is also protected by Gorilla Glass Victus, so it doesn't need to worry about keys in your pocket. Seriously, it's not just a decorative feature, it's half the functionality. Smartphone, let's move on to the cameras, since we're already talking about design. And here, Motorola has made a serious upgrade instead of the modest ultra-wide from the previous generation. Now we have a full-fledged 2-in-1 system, a main 50-megapixel module, optical image stabilization, OIS, and attention, the second ultra-wide lens is also 50 megapixels, with a 122-degree angle and autofocus for macro shooting. The selfie camera inside is 32 megapixels. Photos taken with it look cinematic. There are modes for this kind of shot. Signature mode. They deliver accurate, natural color reproduction certified by Pantone. No oversaturated, toxic colors. The zoom here is digital from 0.5 times to 10 times. But let's be honest, at 10 times the detail drops. It's not worth trying to shoot the moon. For portraits, they've added fixed functional focal lengths, 24mm, 35mm, and 30mm. bokeh. It looks very soft, like on a DSLR, and for geeks, they've kept the pro previews. Now let's talk about features that are only possible on a flip phone. And the first is the frame match function. This is a new feature. You can perfectly compose your shot using the external screen, even if the person taking your photo has no idea how to do it. And the second feature or function is the external display camera cutout. When shooting a portrait, a fun animation spins on the external screen. It's the perfect way to get a child or a pet to look right into the lens. As for video, the smartphone records true 4K at 30 FPS or 60 frames per second. The signature feature, horizontal lock, for me is a masterpiece and it's perfect. You can rotate the phone 360 degrees while running, but the horizon in the frame stays perfectly level, just like on an action camera. The night mode has also been improved here, but it still doesn't quite match classic flagships costing $700 and up. At night, on the ultra-wide cameras, where there is no OIS, things start to get shaky, especially if your hands aren't steady. Let's talk about what's inside the two devices. Inside the 30, there's a fresh 4nm MediaTek 7456 chipset with G615 graphics. MC2. Thank God, Motorola fixed their previous mistake and installed fast UFS 3.1 memory instead of the slower version 2. The system runs on pure Android 16. The smartphone operates lightning fast. Apps don't crash, and the animations are smooth. The brand promises 3 years of Android updates and 5 years of security patches. But how does it perform with games? We launch PUBG Mobile on high settings, stable 60 frames per second. Everything runs smoothly. Playing is pure pleasure. Now let's try a heavier game, for example, on medium settings. For the first 10 to 15 minutes, the game runs great. But then the laws of physics come into play. The thin foldable body can't effectively dissipate and distribute heat. The phone noticeably heats up in the upper part, throttling kicks in, and the FPS starts to drop with micro freezes appearing. So, for hardcore gaming sessions that last for hours, this phone is still not suitable. The battery has also been upgraded here. It features a silicon carbon battery with a capacity of 4,800 mAh. Active usage tests show an honest 12 hours of screen time. In practice, because you handle half of the minor tasks through, the external Razr 17 display easily lasts a day and a half, charging at 32, wired at 15 watts, and wireless charging, by modern standards, has an average speed. Charging the phone to 100% takes just a bit longer than before. Let's talk about art. Here, mods have been tightly integrated, and together with Google G, there are some interesting features. For example, there's the Image Studio, image generation based on requests in Play Studio, creating music playlists to match your mood, smart notes, and functions, such as Remember This or Remind Me. These work smoothly and really help in everyday life, rather than just sitting uselessly in the settings. Let's sum it up. Is it convenient to use? The Motorola Razr 70 every day. Yes, but with some reservations. Let's talk about them. And let's start with the pros. And finally, a top-notch package. A 30-watt charger and a case are already included in the box. Secondly, it's reliable. The military standard MIL STD810H and the titanium hinge inspire confidence. Third, it has a gorgeous display. Both screens support Dolby Vision. Fourth, these are upgraded cameras with a 50-megapixel sensor and useful features like frame match. Battery life is a solid 4,800 mAh, which is more than enough. Among the downsides is the price, €730. That's already serious flagship territory. The hinge ergonomics, it's almost impossible to open the phone with one hand. Third is heating and throttling. In demanding games like Genshin Impact, performance drops after 15 minutes. And finally, there's a noticeable crease. I still need to get used to it. And who is this device for? If you're looking for a premium, ultra-stylish gadget that will make you stand out from the crowd. If durability is important to you and you want to fully use your phone while it's closed, then the Razr 70 is worth every euro. It gives you unique emotions. But if you're looking for an uncompromising gaming phone or a mobile photo studio for night shooting, for this money, it's better to get the classic Monaco. And what do you think? Are you ready to pay 730 euros for such a flip phone? Write in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and give us a like. See you next time, to be continued.